Okay guys, welcome to episode 2 of the 321 show. We're back again, strong and hard. So I'm just going to go around the table and introduce who's here. So me, myself, I'm Dan. Next to me here is...
DX, representing Game Dork.
Dave, representing Retrospekt.
DJ Trip, representing Ultracade Live.
Shags from Radcom Team.
Okay. For those who haven't seen this show before, we've basically got a list of 20 predetermined things we could talk about. And we roll a d20 dice, and that's going to tell us what we talk about. Like, the whole point of it is it's trying to recreate those pub conversations that you have, those cool ones where you had a couple of drinks, you're getting a bit loose, and you talk about some games. Like,
Those sort of conversations.
you know, like the ones where the ladies respect how much 8-bit knowledge you have. I'm pretty sure these days.
Oh, I'm pretty sure
So
they
you-
don't care about dick size anymore.
Nah, it's they want pixels, not
It's all about bits.
It's all
not
about
dicks.
8-bit
bits,
size.
not dicks. That's right. So yeah, we're trying to recreate these drunken conversations that you have. So we don't know what we're going to talk about. It's totally off the cuff. It's totally raw. It's totally passionate stuff. Okay, so without further ado, I reckon we should roll the d20.
Here we go. Hiya.
13.
13. Whoa.
Best handheld systems.
Ooh.
Is everyone happy with that one?
Yeah.
Easy. Easy
Okay.
done.
Okay.
Let's do it. Let's see how quick we can pop this
Alright.
one out.
You might
Number
think
3.
it's quick, but you'll find that there's a couple of handheld systems out there.
Okay.
Tamagotchis.
We're getting deep already.
Oh,
Let's keep
okay.
it. Can we just go around the table and each of us present just one of our favourite handheld? I'll start. It's easy enough. Game Gear.
Can I say, like, I obsessed over the Game Gear. I bled and
So Game Gear, yes or no?
and sperm for it. But then Christmas, when it did come, my cousin, he got the original Game Boy with Super Mario Land, and I cried inside.
You jealous?
I was like,
But it was green and black. Oh, I think you got a bit of
Super Mario Land.
bit of pent up crying from the console.
I had everything that I wanted, and then I saw and played Super Mario Land, and I didn't have that.
But you had Dragon Crystal.
I had Dragon
You
Crystal,
had Sonic.
and I had Sonic, and I had
Sonic Drift.
Monaco.
Sonic Drift.
And Monaco GP.
Alright, so what are you saying? Best handheld? You wanted the Game Boy.
Original Game Boy,
Yeah,
dirty
exactly. Yeah, sure.
Dave.
Well, the funny thing, I never actually properly owned a handheld, unless the Game & Watch counted.
We're totally
Of course
counting
it
those
does.
guys.
Yeah. absolutely.
The first one I ever owned was actually Donkey Kong, the orange one, double screen.
Yeah.
And
Yum.
you look at one of those things, and you see, nowadays that very similar design to the DS.
Very similar
Well, the
design.
DS, very similar design to the Game & Watch.
Very
I
similar
should
design to a
Oh,
digital
yeah.
watch.
Yeah.
Trippy.
Okay.
Well, yeah, for me, I really love the PSP.
Yes.
It's amazing to like handheld. I've had so many hours of enjoyment with that. But going back to the 80s, then there was in the same kind of eras or the Game & Watch, there was like the Tomby or Tommy kind of
Yeah.
all those kind of portable ones,
Karnov.
all the LED ones.
Yeah.
And then there was even the older ones, like the old Merlin ones and Simon and all
I
those
think they're
old
playing
school.
cards, dude.
Electronic
No,
Simon.
Oh, the board
And then
game.
Electronic Merlin. I've got a Merlin. They look like something from Star Trek, whatever. Amazing design. In the 80s, there was a lot of innovation in the handhelds. Like Atari brought out really early hologram handheld.
Yeah.
Which I don't know
What were
if
they called?
I don't know if it just ended up as a prototype. But, pretty crazy stuff.
Whoa,
Like,
that
back
sounds
in the
insane.
80s, you think about Nintendo trying the 3DS and all that kind of stuff. That's innovative now. But in the 80s, there was a lot of craziness happening back then. As a PSP as a console, some of the PSP titles, it felt like you're taking a home console or a bigger console style of game on the go with you, where some of the other handhelds, they always had to be stripped down, like some of the Game Boy Advance games where, there's Prince of Persia or Tomb Raider and that stuff. They had to do it in 2D and, they couldn't capture it. But the PSP had that power to do the 3D. Like in the last episode, my love was Wipeout. The Wipeouts on the PSP were far better than some of the older versions, you know, like
Found a niche.
Yeah, really
also,
nice.
your JRPGs are huge on your PSP.
Yeah, and they're still going now, like,
they are
you know,
massive.
and the PSP is still, so like, and its games are outselling the PSP Go, which didn't really go anywhere.
Yeah, it was
terrible.
That was like no
And, you know,
cartridge, nothing. It was just like downloads or something.
Monster Hunter in Japan.
Yeah.
Huge.
Yeah, huge.
Hunt the monsters, you know,
And
bash
PSP,
'em.
great controls. You got that PlayStation feel. You got the big screen, and for me, I don't need touch controls and that kind of stuff. And you can play a good Street Fighter on there. There's you got the 6 buttons, and you can do all the other functions, watch movies, and use it as a audio device. Quite sturdy.
All right, fair call, man. PSP is.
I've got some like pretty good memories of playing just Game Boy. When I used to work a soul crushing job, and I remember going to the toilet for like 45 minutes at a time and finishing Skate or Die on it.
Oh.
Like actually playing it from the start. And then I remember one day I was in there playing it, and someone went to the cubicle next to me, and I looked down underneath, and it was my boss's, of the dude who owned the company's shoes. And I'm sitting there next to the boss of this giant company, wasting all his money, clocking Skate or Die. And I really remember pressing the buttons really softly so you couldn't hear the clicks. It's one
Pressurized clutch gaming.
I suppose we can also break in like handheld iPhones.
Yeah, iPhone has to get a mention.
Yeah,
iOS.
new school.
Yeah.
And in the iPhone and all the new school, there's a lot of retro in the new.
Exactly.
People like us
and the love towards pixels have come back in the new as well.
Chrono Trigger recently came out on iOS. Sure.
I want them there for
But
security.
I've been pounding that game for
Really?
hours.
I guess
on
it's turn-based RPGs.
It
They're going
is.
to work way better on an iPhone than, say,
menus.
action.
It does. I mean, the menuing system, you don't go up or down.
Just
You
tap
press
where you
the
want.
options. Yeah, you obviously can't do that on the SNES.
No.
But I haven't played the DS version, but I heard that it's very similar using the stylus there. Yeah, like that's a perfect example of a
Absolutely.
ported game.
Dex?
There's 3 other simple handhelds that are all gorgeous and beautiful and are way cooler than iPhone will ever be. Atari Lynx, Sega Nomad, and TurboGrafx.
Turbo Express or PC Engine GT. Yeah,
GT, that's right.
this one.
The
Yeah.
Was it GP Whiz? Was it
The Wiz.
Wiz?
Like,
I've got one. I can't-
GP2X
Your little mate.
Wiz.
Whiz, yeah, love it.
As a open source handheld.
ROM, open source, handheld ROM
Emulator,
emulating thing. It's like
The
having
Wiz, yeah?
yeah, like it runs homebrew, everything.
Oh, yeah.
So the other thing I like is what we're saying, the links.
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Links.
Let's not forget about
California,
that.
Xenophone,
Yeah,
is that
yeah.
what it's called?
Yeah,
Oh, one of the
I remember
games.
that title.
And I always remember it was for like aliens, and it was like the first thing I got like I love the movie Aliens. Who doesn't like the movie Aliens?
Yeah.
And it was the first kind of thing where it was like rooms with these like things are coming out and stuff. I loved it.
So
Like
good. California games
Had that-
ruled on
yeah,
that.
I know.
BMX was off the chain.
Yeah,
so
like,
different.
So many
Downhill.
tricks.
So good.
Seriously, if you had the Atari Lynx 1, mate, you could skate that thing to school.
Well,
if you lived in
It's the Atari Lynx 1 is like because I've got one of them. I get confused between the 2 versions, but I've
Between
got the
you and a surfboard.
I've got the one with the battery backpack, which is like a backpack
Was it the one
with
that-
D batteries, so I can play on the go. And
What
plug
you
it-
wear it like the Ghostbusters?
It's just
No.
like a strap, and
No,
it's
you
got like,
don't.
like just
Please on that bitch.
like a. I think it takes.
You've got a handheld console that involves having a backpack of batteries to run it.
Like,
yeah.
Who here at the table didn't play a game and watch and go, imagine if the screen scrolled?
I had Donkey Kong Jr. I used to play it so much, and I always had this fantasy that I was going to get to this screen that you never could
yeah.
get to. Like I always
You
like,
wouldn't be able
it's
to
the same
see.
as when I was playing my ColecoVision. I was playing Smurf. I always thought that I'd come to this thing where Gargamel would be in this like for stuff that we just take for granted today. I always thought there'd be like if you played it enough, you get to Gargamel and you get to like walk
Witness
past
some
him.
great
Yeah, or
stuff.
something like that. Like never happened.
No.
But I got vivid dreams of it happening.
Yeah.
What was the Mario that had the extendable control
The
pads?
2 players.
Oh yeah.
Aside,
There was
The boxing one.
the boxing. There was like the like
they all had
greenhouse.
extendable-
Greenhouse
yeah,
where you
greenhouse.
spray up.
Yeah.
Spray up. ice hockey one,
Yeah.
and there was another one I can't remember.
How
No
nice
shit.
and beautiful. Like, Nintendo, hats off, guys. Those guys, you can still play Game & Watch. I've
Yeah.
still got one mint in box
Yeah.
that is perfect.
I was
The
rocking one for a while. Just
the
going.
feel is as
I'm gonna
good
bring
as
it back.
anything that is produced today.
Design-wise, and
Yeah,
nostalgic.
And
Yeah, how
the
cool is
beautiful
it? How's
colouring.
that brushed aluminium
Yes,
feel going?
gorgeous.
You know,
And like if you
the nice lids, simple
the
fonts,
snap click, like the latches.
and the
everything about
simple
it.
design, like on the characters, iconic.
Oh,
characters.
but
How
you're
was
saying
taking a
that-
digital watch, looking at that and going, we could make a game system out of this.
Fucking no, yeah.
Do you know what was a really amazing one? Did you guys play Super Mario Brothers on it? It was later in life on them, and it was
Oh,
it was a scrolling one. It was a scrolling one because there was nothing on the screen. It all involved like just platforms that moved along,
right,
and you had to like jump between. And it had worlds, and they ended. It went to the next world.
And did the Game & Watch really innovate the crosshair control? Like, did
Oh,
The D-pad.
the D-pad.
Oh, absolutely.
That's where
Where did
in its that look.
Yeah,
before that, it was joysticks
From-
because of that designer, which I can't remember his name,
Yeah.
from Nintendo.
Ah,
Like he,
Gunpei Yokoi.
yep,
That's
Nintendo
cool.
have really got some good design choices.
Sam's Octopus, like that was a great Game & Watch. I loved that one.
You never got angry at it for cheating. You know,
No,
you always called games off for cheating.
Yes.
It's cheating.
Consoles.
Greatest. Always cheated.
Yeah.
Like
Mario
Mario
Kart.
Kart.
Street
Always
Fighter.
cheated.
cheated.
Street Fighter.
They cheated.
They
And
did.
you'd say to your mum,
Game
They did
she'd be
cheat,
like,
you couldn't
what
do it.
why are you so angry at the game? It's cheating. She goes, it can't cheat. It doesn't have a brain. I go, it can.
Program to cheat.
Put in there
Programmed
to
to
make
win.
me lose at this point. Do you know what? I'm going to bring up this one? The memory card of the Dreamcast.
Ah, killer. Nice one.
If people out there don't know what the Dreamcast memory cards were, you basically put them in, you saved your game onto your onto the memory cards, and you took it out. It had a little screen and buttons. And from saving your game onto the memory card, you had a little mini game on the card. And if you finished this mini game and you plugged it back into the system and loaded up your game again, you'd have like maybe a new perk in the game or something. It was exactly
Yep.
the same with the Pocket Station.
Put the two things together. I think the interlock they would even swap.
Yes,
data.
you could play against your other friends.
Like,
you could
just
you
in
could
a lock-in.
you
Like-
could
like
click
just,
them in
like,
and
click 'em
actually
in.
play like together.
That's
Pocket
right.
Station was the PlayStation version of it.
And that was totally innovative at the time, wasn't it?
It's amazing how much innovation there has been in the handheld, digging deeper.
Digging
and,
it.
you know, there's been some fails like the Virtual Boy, but you know, but it's amazing
that on
the
the
risk,
list?
the risk
A
taking.
fail
though,
in your eyes.
you know, for the mass, you know, like when I played your Virtual Boy, I really enjoyed it, and I found it quite innovative.
Class it as a portable.
No.
So where
I
are we
wouldn't,
putting
man.
this?
I ain't taking it anywhere
Well,
besides
it is.
somebody's bench or
you
it
know.
ain't going no place.
It was portable. You know, you've got it in a case, haven't you? Sort of a large
As
briefcase.
portable
Yeah.
as any console.
This is
Yeah.
my PS3 in the case.
Yeah.
The whole Game Boy has to be open up.
The
That's the
DS.
point I really want to get to. Is like, which is your favourite Game Boy out of all the incarnations?
SP,
Oh, the
clamshell,
SP.
SP
cool.
backlit. You can shut it. It protects the screen.
Yeah, that was.
You can play all the Game Boy Advance. You can play all the old
Zeldas.
Game Boy. Oh, even Street Fighter Alpha 3 plays quite well on there.
Really?
Then there's
Alpha
you know,
3?
Link to the Past, Zelda
Yeah,
is
that was
amazing. So many great titles on
What
the,
about the
Game
Pocket Game Boy? Did
Advance.
anyone fuck around with the little Pocket Game Boy? That super cool.
It's just
still
a Game Boy.
the
but
micro.
tiny.
Never the micro.
I don't
Oh,
think
it's always like-
anyone I know ever bought one.
I think
I
harder.
almost bought one. They were going for 30
Seen.
once. Like,
$30.
yeah, they're very cheap now.
Now,
But I never went there because
They're
the
not
SP
each
had
sort
a,
of.
had a bigger screen.
and it links
and
up to the GameCube for like
and it
the
feels
four
good. You
swords
got
shit.
this, you know, it was
So you're
great.
chucking this in the 3, 2, 1?
Are you calling the Advance? That Game Boy for you?
Well, no, SP.
What?
See,
PSP.
Oh, it's hard, isn't it?
I really love the PSP.
PSP. Throw him down for a PSP. I'm actually going to throw me down for the Dreamcast. Memory?
VMU.
Dreamcast. It's like the one that like totally blew me away.
Hey, but the DS, the first DS, I got a DS for my birthday, which was very rare for me at 25 to
How you know? 50?
yeah about that. But you know,
Yes.
I was pretty excited about that. It had like touchscreen, stylus. Don't care.
No, I hate the stylus.
Yeah,
I
styluses can suck a dick.
Yeah.
Keep it true.
Very cool, but
WarioWare?
Wario.
That
That was
game,
cool.
man.
A lot of
like-
innovation going
Dude,
on
I
there.
remember playing that at the Exeter pub, just at the front of the thing, and like the dudes behind the bar, like, what are you playing?
What is that?
And they're like, have a go. And they're like, this is fucking rad. Like, you get those games, and they seriously last for 6 seconds.
Yeah. All those
And there was like
mini
200 of them, I was saying. And I was like, this is genius.
Fascinating.
It is,
Oh,
isn't
it's
it?
cool,
Oh,
It's
dude.
a short attention span, like game
Massive.
rush, isn't it?
If the
And
ADD
just
kid
flip your
made a
brain
game,
and how you manipulate.
it had quickly just show you how you had to play it for like half a second. It's like,
And go.
and go, and you failed. Sucked in.
Yeah.
Next game.
This one. Get used to it.
Yeah.
Fucking fail.
What's that?
Amazing.
Not concentrating.
When we're talking about the Game Boy, the first Game Boy is obviously the part of the music scene. You know, so many chiptune, so like artists and some amazing software made for the Game Boy, independent. You know, has really helped make that original Game Boy quite iconic. You know, its design and color, the green and grey. You know, like
Green and black.
and the green and black, the grey casing and it's sort of like purpley kind of buttons.
There's a lot of
It's-
chiptune artists out there that just use pure Game Boy.
And the reason,
isn't there?
and the reason for that is because the chipset inside the game, I think it was called the DMG1, that particular Game Boy, the first one had the best sound overall.
So many artists have made some amazing tunes from these Game Boys, and that's really helped taken the Game Boy to a whole new kind of cultural place as well,
It's so
alongside the games.
socially relevant now. Like it's got the pop culture.
And it's
when
because
I
of
go to
those
the rave, I
people.
pack my pingers and my Game Boy. And
You know, it's
Get
about
down
those
there.
people growing up. They would have had them as kids, whatever, and then growing up as adults, and who are musicians, and they go,
At some
I want
point,
to take that nostalgia in sound. And it's almost as iconic as the first NES controller, you know, like it's got it's so
you can put
strong.
it on a t-shirt. It's like it's so identifiable. You can take away all the details, leave like just the core fundamental. Just a square with a corner.
So, all right, Game Boy's clearly in the top 3. It sounds like, but
The
hey,
original
let's
Game Boy,
hit the
yeah.
list. Let's hit the
Game
list.
Boy,
here.
yeah.
So Game Boy original started a lot.
The first one.
Nostalgic as hell.
I'll
It's got so many
fucking
things going
die
for it.
that son of a bitch.
All right,
I love it.
Tamagotchi votes. No one. Okay,
Dave, take it out.
Dave, do what you got to do with Tamagotchi. Thank you. What about the Game Gear? Now, I loved it. Dee loved it. Our first
we didn't-
handheld, but shit.
Well, I was going to ask you.
Do you know what was good about the Game Gear?
What's that?
You could
It was
plug in
colour.
the aerial and watch TV on it.
Mm-hmm.
Television.
What else has Game Gear got going for it? It was colour.
It was
Master System
backlit.
games on it.
Master System converter. Bang.
Yeah.
Oh my
All
lord!
these
The
games
Master
on the
System
run.
converter.
Master Gear.
That changed the Game Gear, didn't it? That was a game changer.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Pun intended.
Pun Nintendo.
I'm
Oh,
still
I know,
battery
I know.
life with
Battery
6
life
double
was-
A's for fuck all for about
I remember
an hour and a
taking it
half or
out
something.
like on the day, thinking,
Yeah.
"Oh my god, I'm free! Like I can play a system out at a family function while they're all running around on the tennis court, and I'm in the shadows."
And what
playing a
happens? You
video
get
game.
half an hour
Seriously.
in, and the light starts flashing, and you go, "I'm just getting warmed into it now. I'm panicking because it's going to run out of battery."
And then that's why the Game Boy made sense. 2 less batteries, 50 times the amount of weight.
Yeah.
I just want to go on record as saying that at the end of the day, it just couldn't compete. And like, fair enough, if anybody out there loves their bloody Game Gears and want to put it ahead of a Game Boy or a Lynx, I'm sorry.
It's got some high points, it's got some great value, but hey, it's got some stiff competition.
Go on to the PSP,
is what we
PSP.
came up with next. I got nothing on it. I played Pixel Junk Monsters on it, loved that, but that's the only great
I played heaps
experience
of
I've
cool
had on
games
it.
on it. Is it still the biggest screen for portable?
It'd have to be. What can challenge it?
The DSi was pretty.
The Mega DS was like this. Like it was a bigger screen, but the pixels were just made bigger, and it was
It was the same resolution. They just stretched it out.
Get the God of Wars or a cool game that gets good reviews.
Well, you know,
and it's
like-
still expensive
you know,
as
they-
you would
they
on
had-
the console.
They had like the GTAs, you know, on the PSP. Great, you know, it's
And I love
Perfect.
the fact that you talk about those Wipeout ones that were
and
like.
Wipeout. Those two Wipeouts, Pure and Pulse.
And what I hear about
were
the
amazing.
JRPGs as well.
What was that Final Fantasy VII one? I bought
Crisis Core.
Crisis Core. I love that.
See, the cool thing about the PSP, it caters for all the retro players, like the Capcom compilations and the Midway ones, and there was Taito compilations. You just get all like this mega collection of all these classic games. You know, like playing Mortal Kombat on your PSP in one of those Midway compilations, or the Capcom ones, getting Street Fighter on there. And, you know, the PSP's got the 6 button and, you know, got the shoulder pads, it feels right. And then you got all the innovative kind of Loco Roco and...
Yeah, Loco Roco.
Patapon and then, you know, all these slightly more experimental games. It catered for the hardcore, the casual, and the retro. Because it had its power, you know? And the PSP 3000 put into a TV. You got TV out, you know, like... So you can still get that home console thing. If you're going to play, you know, you're away or something and you've got a Final Fantasy, you can play it on the big screen and chill out.
And a nice interface with the PS3.
So we're going to shortlist it.
Who's going to stand up for the iPhone?
No one.
I will.
Really?
I'd rather an iPhone than a PSP any fucking day. PS Portable. Who the fuck can carry that around in a pocket and get away with it?
Please explain the Nomad. Nomad is a portable Mega Drive in a way, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was like a sliced Delta cut.
Did it use Mega Drive cartridges?
Yes. It was just straight Mega Drive.
With a
Mega Ds
screen with the 6 button, like the Mega Drive 6 button.
Yeah, like and this was back before like any sort of these.
In Japan and America, is that correct? It never came to Australia.
Was never released here.
Never released.
Oh look what's in that list, dude. That list is so beautiful. Like
the Lynx was an honourable mention, though, wasn't it?
Yeah,
like back to the iPhone. All the thing about
whittled this down.
You know, it has revolutionised and has shaped as much as the Game & Watch for a new generation.
Just earlier before to see that the D started with the Game & Watch and is still not being taken out of Nintendo's design today. How can you deny that influence? That is incredible. It has been in every single console.
And it's the feel people like. They want that.
Dave, what do you got, man?
Well, I'd easily would have to agree with Game & Watch being there in the top
list.
3. Absolutely. I mean, again, it's where it all started. Secondly, I mean, the Game Boy, at the same time, it's the same thing, same company, but it is a different dimension pushed across, and it's a different platform. Yeah. And highly successful. And even nowadays,
Tetris.
Yeah, Tetris was what did it.
Exactly.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
Tetris.
Yeah, I'm not animating those high fives.
And
yes, you are.
And then thirdly, I would have to agree, the iOS platform.
It's a game changer, isn't it? It's
really
how we interface on the go as well.
Not just, and saying before, you know, it wasn't just, you know, the whole touchscreen thing. You and I, Tyson, we have iCades. That made a world of difference. And there are companies out there that are making new games that support it.
The iCade is very cool.
Yeah, well, for those who don't know what the iCade is, have a look on Retrospekt, and I've done a review up on that.
Shameless plug.
Oh, yeah, very.
No, you got it. Saves him doing it now.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Check it out.
Yeah, those are my 3.
That's the iOS. I mean, so what? That covers iPad and iPhone together.
Yeah.
So there you go. I think we're looking at Game Boy, Game & Watch, and iPhone. And I think you predicted it, really.
I'd have to put Game Boy over Game & Watch as my fucking favourite.
Okay.
Regardless, we've got our 3.
And this is it. And let's do the order. So this is the 3, 2, 1 best handheld systems. Number 3 is iOS.
The iOS.
As in iPhone, iPad. Ow. Number 2 is Game & Watch.
The Pioneer.
The original.
Crockett.
The LCD Commando. And number 1 is of the whole thing is Game Boy. Game Boy.
Original dirty green.
So the best one, number 1, Game Boy. I never thought it was going to come to that actually.
Game Boy.
I love it.
Game Boy.
I love it.
Green
so
and
who
black.
wants a game
Honourable mention.
Tetris?
Of course. Oh, Link Up. Link Up Tetris.
Game Gear.
That's what.
No, Game Gear can suck a dick.
Solidify. Hey man, that's fucking trademark.
Stop.